Hey, good day to you. This is Todd. I am a regular dude walking in the Word. As we're going through the book of Numbers, today we're going to look at the end of chapter 20. And I've entitled this The Family Feud. Actually, the never-ending family feud. To understand this, you have to go back, way back, to the book of Genesis. And you have to understand the nation of Edom. The nation of Edom didn't just pop out of any place, okay? The nation of Edom were descendants of Esau. And Esau was the brother to Jacob. Jacob was, the father to the nation of Israel, the promised, that went all the way to the promised land. So Israel is now traveling, and they come to the land of Edom, okay? And it doesn't go so well there. They're relatives going way back, okay, to Jacob and Esau. Now, remember, if you go back into Genesis, their story between Jacob and Esau didn't go well. But at the end of that story, at the end of their lives, they did resolve the differences, even though they didn't, choose to live next to each other and so forth. They had their differences, and it worked out better for them to kind of stay away from each other. But you could say they reconciled. But you're going to see that history is going, and it's carrying all the way here to when they're traveling and they want to go through the land of Edom. And this is what happens. So let's read here today. This is taken from Numbers chapter 20, verses 14 to 29. All right? And it's called the never-ending family feud. Verse 14, Moses sent messengers from Kadesh to the king of Edom, saying, "This is what your brother Israel says." Brother Israel, okay, it's for Jacob here. "You know all about the hardships that have come on us. Our ancestors went down into Egypt, and we lived there many years. The Egyptians mistreated us and our ancestors, but we have cried out to the Lord. He heard our cry and sent an angel and brought us out of Egypt. Now we are here at Kadesh, and a town on the edge of your territory. Please let us pass through your country. We will not go through any field or vineyard or drink water from any well. We will travel along the king's highway and not turn to the right or to the left until we have passed through your territory." Okay? A reasonable thing. Moses basically gives them a little history lesson of the family there, and then what happened to Jacob's family after that, going to Egypt, and now they're free and they're traveling. And very reasonable here. They said, we're just going to go down the highway. We're not going to, take any of your food and drink and stuff like that. We're not conquering you, okay? We're just traveling through is all we're doing. So, seems reasonable enough. But, verse 18, "But Edom answered, 'You may not pass through here. If you try, we will march out and attack you with the sword.'" Uh-oh. Doesn't sound very welcoming. The Israelites replied, "We will go along the main road, and if we or our livestock drink any of your water, we will pay for it. We only want to pass through on foot, nothing else." Again they answered, "You may not pass through." Then Edom came out against them with such a large and powerful army. Since Edom refused to let them go through the territory, Israel turned away from them. Okay? So Edom is just, being really unreasonable with the whole thing and not letting them go through. And Israel, knowing that they're their relatives, has chosen to, okay, we're not going to force our way in. We're just going to go around another way. And God orchestrated all this. All right. You're wondering, whatever happens to this, whatever happens, at the end of the story. Well, what happens is Edom continuously is always a thorn in the side to the nation of Israel and Judah. And it finally, the Lord destroys Edom. And there's different prophecies that were given throughout the Old Testament that, destruction is coming for Edom. And eventually, because of them pulling this stunt here, not letting the Israelites go through, and then always being that constant thorn in the side. In fact, when another army was invading, the Israelites were trying to flee, and they thought, oh, we can maybe flee through Edom. Well, Edom wouldn't let that happen. Okay, so again, not a good way to act. What eventually happens is Edom is destroyed. Okay, to this day, to this very day, you will never find any descendants, anybody that says, hey, you know what, I can trace my ancestry back to Edom, and so forth. But you will find people from Israel and Judah that can go, yeah, we can trace our history back to Judah and Israel. So Edom was destroyed as a result of that. Okay. This chapter doesn't end there, though. Okay, there's a lot you can learn from that interaction there about like trying to make peace with your family here. We continue on here, and it talks about the death of Aaron. Aaron and Moses were brothers, and they really acted in concert together. Aaron being the high priest, Moses really being in high communication with God, and the leader of that nation, leading them out of Egypt. So they worked together a lot. But there were times where there was disagreements between them, and there was times where God had to discipline Aaron and Miriam, the sister too, for coming against Moses. All right, so they were able to kind of work through their differences, and you can see here then when Aaron dies, Moses is there beside him. Okay. It says this in verse 22, the whole Israelite community set out from Kadesh and came to Mount Hor. At Mount Hor, near the border of Edom, the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, Aaron will be gathered to his people. He will not enter the land I give the Israelites, because both of you rebelled against my command at the waters of Meribah. Okay. This was told in the chapter we just went through, 20 in chapter, same chapter actually, chapter 20, and the God had said Moses and Aaron would not go into the promised land because of what they did there by misrepresenting God. All right, verse 25: Get Aaron and his son Eleazar and take them up to Mount Hor. Remove Aaron's garments and put them on his son Eleazar, for Aaron will be gathered to his people, and he will die there. Now you're thinking, Aaron's son Eleazar. Eleazar was actually the third oldest son. He was not the first oldest son or the second oldest son. Those two sons had died because they, did improper sacrifice. Really, they had the improper fire. The way the Lord prescribed it, they weren't doing it, and so God killed him, really. And so this is the third son now, and he's going to be the new high priest here. And so it says, for Aaron will be gathered to his people, and he will die there. Verse 27, Moses did as the Lord commanded. They went up to Mount Hor in the sight of the whole community. Moses removed Aaron's garments and put them on Eleazar, and Aaron died there on top of the mountain. Then Moses and Eleazar came down from the mountain, and when the whole community learned that Aaron had died, all the Israelites mourned for him 30 days. Okay, so you see that there's a difference here between the way Jacob and Esau's descendants were acting towards each other, specifically Esau, and his descendants, the people of Edom, were treating the people, Jacob's people, really, and how that didn't go well. But the people of Jacob, or of Israel, really, tried to bring peace by not instigating further thing. And God eventually dealt with Edom and destroyed them. But then you see here in that last part, there was disagreements between the brothers, but in the end, Moses was there to really bury Aaron, because God had called him that it's time to die. All right, so work through your family feuds as much as possible. All right. Hey, thanks for watching. I'm just a regular dude walking in the Word, and I don't want to see our family feuds go on for ages and generations. All right, so work them out. Lord's blessing to you. I will see you tomorrow.